Hi, I'm Zachary Cowan, the author of the Study Daily books, and thanks for joining me for a look at Doctrine and Covenants, section 76, part 4. So we've already seen this great vision of Jesus Christ. We've seen a vision of hell. We've seen a vision of the celestial kingdom that Joseph and Sydney have been going through. And this section, we're going to learn about what makes up the characteristics of a person who goes to the terrestrial kingdom. So go ahead, pause your video, check out Doctrine and Covenants, section 76, verse 71 through 80. What are the things that are mentioned that qualifies a person for the terrestrial kingdom? Thanks for studying. So some of the things you'll notice is that these are people who they died without the law of the gospel. They never heard it. And they went to the spirit world and spirit prison. And when they heard the gospel, they accepted it and rejoiced in that. Were able to progress. These are honorable people of the world who, for whatever reason, rejected the gospel while they were here on earth because they were blinded by the craftiness of men. And so those things kind of got in the way of that, but yet they're good people. So in the terrestrial kingdom, we learn that they can enjoy the presence of Jesus Christ, but they cannot enjoy the presence and the fullness of heavenly parents, like Heavenly Father and Mother. So this is a really interesting thing. Now, of course, this is unfolding to Joseph and Oliver, and we're learning the gospel is being restored because in section 137, Joseph Smith is going to have something profoundly, another vision that will happen that will open up a new understanding of what is really going on in the terrestrial kingdom. In section 137, he sees his brother Alvin, who died without being baptized before the gospel is restored in the celestial kingdom. And Joseph says, I have no idea how you're here, Alvin. You're supposed to be a terrestrial being. And in Joseph's mind, that's great because Alvin, he was told by a preacher, is going to hell. So the fact that he would be in the terrestrial kingdom is really rewarding for Joseph. But now here's Alvin in the celestial kingdom. And he learns in section 137, verses 6 and 7, that all people who died without the gospel, without the law, if they would have accepted it, if they would have been permitted to tarry and accepted it with their whole hearts in the best circumstances, of course they're going to have a chance for the celestial kingdom. So this section right here, the terrestrial kingdom, is talking about people who would have rejected it. And of course, how do we know that? Well, God judges two things. Not only our works of what we have done on earth, but also, according to section 137, verse 9, our desires, so that there is no unfairness, so that people can come and receive that. And thus, those who go to the terrestrial kingdom, they're not going there on a technicality. They're not going there on like a flaw or an error. They're going there because this is the place they most want to be. God always sends us to the places that we most want to be and allows us to be there. So then the question comes, what are we going to do to make sure, according to verse 79 in section 76, that we're valiant in our testimony? A testimony is not just something that we know or that we say. A testimony is something that we do. It's our covenants and how well we keep them. And thus, we need to be careful and determining our desires and our actions. Do they really match up? Are we living according to our testimonies? And are we valiant in those things? We might ask ourselves, is there anything that is willfully blinding me, that's keeping me from becoming the kind of person I want to be? Am I planning on going to? Am I desiring to become those kinds of things? Because what we desire is eventually what we become and what we get. Thanks for studying. That is the terrestrial kingdom. What an incredible thing. As a footnote, this idea of being in the presence of Jesus Christ, this is the heaven that most Christians are earnestly seeking for, praying for, and hoping to obtain. It is a marvelous place. And yet there is more. Hey, thanks for studying. We'll see you next time when we study the celestial kingdom.